Welcome to Face Forward, the podcast, the series that takes you behind the scenes of the riveting world of clinical trial management. I am your host, Valerie Coveney, and I am thrilled to be your guide on this journey through the nuances of planning, executing, and navigating the clinical research landscape.
Hi, my name's Janet, and I'm delighted to be speaking with Staci Ellis, Vice President and Head of Regulatory Affairs at RegDev, today for a special interview from the AAD annual meeting in beautiful San Diego, California. Staci, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about U.S. IND application filing.
Hi, Janet. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, Staci, how can a sponsor help ensure the success of a U.S. IND filing?
Well, I recommend seeking early consultation from FDA by requesting a pre-IND meeting. This provides sponsors with an opportunity to not only introduce their compound and program to the FDA review team, but also to get their feedback prior to filing an IND. Considering the time spent to request and prepare a briefing package and then wait and receive the FDA's feedback as an investment will actually mitigate the risk of program delays by giving you the opportunity to address potential deficiencies in your program prior to actually filing the IND. This provides a greater chance for success that your IND is going to be cleared when you actually file it.
Mm-hmm.
A pre-IND meeting allows the sponsor to gain alignment on the study design elements of the first-in-human study. And this is accomplished by preparing a clearly written briefing package and sharing a draft protocol so that FDA can comment on key elements of your study, such as your choice of primary and key secondary endpoints. Maybe the use of a biomarker is included. Also, you can ask them if they agree with the patient population as defined in your protocol and the planned statistical analyses, as well as your starting dose and the overall trial design itself. In addition, the meeting will also provide a mechanism to gain early FDA feedback on your clinical development program.
And what steps should we take to ensure the FDA agrees that our data will support our starting dose and ascending doses?
And that's a great question, Janet. So in the briefing package to support your meeting, you want to make sure and include the data that will justify your starting dose and dose escalation for the study. You would also want to define how you plan to determine your appropriate recommended phase 2 doses and regimens for your next study. It's important to actually ask the FDA this particular question before you submit your IND, so you can ensure that they agree that the starting dose, your dose escalation plan, and regimen are supported by data that not just you, but also FDA finds acceptable to base a safety assessment on with regard to subject exposure. Because remember, at this point, FDA isn't familiar with your program, and they may or may not know you very well as a sponsor. So if FDA has concerns about safety, whether it's relevant to your dosing or any other aspect of your study, now's the time to learn this so that these elements can be modified or further supported with data in the actual IND filing. Learning of deficiencies, which we hope we don't have any, but to learn those or any safety concerns from FDA prior to actually filing the IND can prevent potential delays to your program overall, or even prevent a clinical hold based on FDA's initial review of the IND. Because if that were the case, your net saving in time will favor your program by opting for the meeting originally.
And Staci, how can we ensure that our IND-enabling non-clinical testing meets the FDA's expectations?
Well, this information needs to be described in your pre-IND meeting package and the appropriate questions asked of FDA so that you can hopefully gain very useful and actionable feedback. Learn that FDA agrees that all the work has been adequately conducted and the data could support your first-in-human study, or else understand from FDA directly what may be unclear or unclearly presented or possibly incomplete. In other words, again, what are FDA's concerns and how can you mitigate these concerns in the IND filing? So what I mean by this is that sponsors should describe the IND enabling non-clinical farm and tox studies that they have conducted and that are in progress, and the data to support the clinical study that they want to propose to FDA and IND. And present this information in the briefing package in a way that conveys that the IND filing will meet FDA's expectations and the requirements will have all been met, and there are no potential safety concerns that will be left unmitigated.
What about the chemistry, manufacturing, and controls CMC information? How do we make sure that it's conveyed clearly and meets the FDA's expectations?
That's another good point, Janet. So from the CMC perspective, the information in Module 3 of the IND filing, of course, as we know, must be accurate and complete, but it doesn't need to be more detailed than necessary, depending on the phase of the proposed study. So in the pre-IND meeting briefing package, you'll want to explain what you plan to provide in your IND. Provide the scientific rationale that will demonstrate control of your drug's identity, strength, or potency, purity, quality, and above all else, safety. The agency will focus their review of the IND when they review that on whether the drug substance and drug product can be consistently manufactured in compliance with GMPs, and that the drug is reflective of what was used in the supportive non-clinical study. So at the end of the day, a primary concern in a U.S. IND is really subject safety. This will be evident in the data presented by the sponsor, the quality and consistency of your manufacturing information, as well as the design of your clinical trial. The pre-IND meeting is such a valuable opportunity to ask relevant questions of the agency and gain their feedback, so that you have the opportunity to mitigate risks that could appear in your IND filing, not being cleared in 30 days and having to go back to the drawing board and do it all over again. This will cost a lot more in time and money as well than just requesting a pre-IND meeting at the onset.
Staci, this is excellent information. Thanks for sharing your expertise and insights. It's really been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you too.
As we conclude another illuminating episode of Face Forward, we find ourselves at the crossroads of science and progress. Remember that behind the jargon and statistics lie stories of unwavering commitment, meticulous observation, and the pursuit of evidence that shapes our understanding of health and disease. Stay at the forefront of knowledge and innovation and follow Face Forward on your preferred platform. My name is Valerie Kovney. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.